Welcome. This is Cindy Best from Best Law Firm. Community property in Arizona is any property that you accumulated during your marriage, and it's presumed to be community with two major exceptions. One, if you inherit property from a family member or somebody gave it to you in a will, that property is your sole and separate property, much different than community property. Community property is divided 50-50, but sole and separate property is yours alone. Another way to acquire sole and separate property would be if you received it as a gift. You may have a gift of an animal, a pet, a dog. You may get a gift of golf clubs, a bicycle, a piano, a ring. Those would become your sole and separate property. Now, the reason it's important to understand the difference between community property and sole and separate property is that community property is divided in half. Sole and separate property remains your sole and separate property and is not divided at the time of a divorce. You also have sole and separate property that you brought into the marriage. If you had a special table, if you had a set of rollerblades, sporting equipment, your skis, a business, any kind of thing, any kind of asset or any kind of property that you brought into the marriage remains your sole and separate property. Now, when you're going through your divorce, you'll have to list all your assets and divide them in half. Now, in this particular exercise, you'll have to figure out what all of your assets are, figure out the value of those assets, and then divide them approximately in half. You may have a couple bicycles, and they may belong to you as your sole and separate property, so you wouldn't have to divide the bicycle. If you have a dog that's a family pet, you'll have to decide the best way to get custody of that. You'll have to decide who gets custody of the dog. You also have your house, maybe an asset, your car, your vehicle, if it has any equity in it, your bank accounts, your money, any kind of pension plans and deferred compensation plans. All of these assets need to be listed. The values need to be determined, and if they are in fact community property, they will be split 50-50. The next thing you do when you're looking at your community property in a divorce in Arizona is decide what your debts are. Your debts include your mortgage, the amount of money you owe on your cars, credit card debt, loans you may have for school, bank loans, any kind of debt that you owe other people. Again, if they were acquired during the marriage, they're presumed to be community debt. It doesn't matter whose name is on the debt if it was acquired during the marriage. Now, if you had credit card debt prior to the marriage, that remains your sole and separate debt. So it's not thrown into the list of debts that need to be split. If you need more information on how to divorce in Arizona, please see our other videos. This is Cindy Best from Best Law Firm. Thank you.